I'm not really sure how to begin this video. This has been such a bizarre month thus far. The number one highest grossing gacha game in the world right now earned a cumulative total of every single gacha game from number 2 through number 20, and then doubled it. And it wasn't Genshin Impact. On the contrary, Genshin Impact had its lowest earning month in history, almost dropping out of the top 3 highest grossing gacha games for the first time since it released. Yeah, it has been that kind of month. Hey, my name is Stix and welcome back to your regular monthly recap of how your gacha game is doing on a month-by-month basis. These stats are purely mobile and do not include PC, just for reference. If you're interested in gacha releasing this month, new gacha games to try out, I have a dedicated video exclusively for that you can find linked below or at the end of the video. Before we jump into today's video, I want to take a moment here to thank our sponsor, Snowbreak Containment Zone, an incredible looking 3D sci-fi RPG shooter that I've been covering since its inception. Snowbreak combines character skills, action elements, and a rich narrative into a unique cross-platform experience. If Snowbreak looks like something that you would be interested in playing, then I urge you to go ahead and click that link in the description of the pinned comment below to be taken directly to the game, which is holding its global closed beta test in June. Snowbreak is a gorgeous third-person PvE action shooter with a variety of different skills, weapon types, and highly interactive environments to use to your advantage. With an ever-expanding selection of playable characters to choose between, each with their own diverse playstyles, you're given endless freedom to formulate your own team composition suitable for the encounter that you're in. Players will engage absolutely monstrous humanoid titans, featuring real-time partial destruction, play through a deep visual narrative, learning about the conflict between technology and humanity, fully animated cutscenes, English, Japanese, and Mandarin voice acting, and so much more. Pre-registration for Snowbreak Containment Zone is open, and with the pre-registration goals already accomplished, you can claim your exclusive rewards right now. Snowbreak launches in July. This is going to be one of the biggest gacha releases of the immediate future, so do not miss out. Click that link right now and come and join in. Coming in at number 1 is Honkai Star Rail. Hoyo struck absolute gold with this game, as a combined total of both China and global equated to roughly $280 million via Android and iOS, disregarding PC. If we were to include PC earnings, Star Rail would have possibly crossed $500 million in its first month, setting new records for the gacha genre as a whole. The game had over 40 million downloads in its first month, and as of June 7th is reported as having approximately 23 million active players logging in each day to play. Absolutely mind-blowing numbers. Number 2 is Genshin Impact, but only barely. Globally, Genshin Impact saw 2.8 million new downloads and $34 million. When combined with China, that increased to 3.4 million downloads and $57 million, tracking significantly under last month's $94 million and average of 120 million plus it typically receives. This makes sense though, as Star Rail has absolutely dominated the market, and many Genshin players have decided to take a break due to the content lull. Number 3 saw NIKKE just fall short of dethroning Genshin Impact, bringing in 300,000 new downloads and $33 million. Another million and we would have seen history made, an idle game dethroning the biggest gacha in the world. This is up from last month's 300,000 downloads and $24 million. Number 4 is none other than Fate Grand Order, which has maintained a top 5 position every month this year, bringing in 250,000 new downloads and $30.7 million. This is down from last month's 160,000 new downloads and $33 million. Musume comes in at number 5, still pretty much a Japanese exclusive at this point, as there is no global version currently. Musume brought in 50,000 new downloads and $27 million, up from last month's 50,000 new downloads and $23 million. Unfortunately, that is every gacha game over 20 million. Raid Shadow Legends comes in at number 6 with a surprising 800,000 new downloads and $15 million, down from last month's 700,000 new downloads and $16 million. I don't know how people continue to spend money on this game. Number 7 might shock many players, as Arknights typically trends in the lower 20 to 30s, but Arknights managed to break into the top 10 this month with 100,000 new downloads and $14 million, up significantly from last month's 120,000 new downloads and $5 million. Blue Archive has taken the number 8 spot, maintaining a top 10 spot every month since this year began, with 150,000 new downloads and $13 million. This is the same as last month's 200,000 new downloads and $13 million. Number 9 is another Japanese exclusive, Heaven Burns Red, bringing in 60,000 new downloads and $11 million. This is up from last month's 70,000 downloads and $10 million. Summoner's War rounds out the top 10 with 90,000 new downloads and $10 million. This is down from last month's 260,000 new downloads and $14 million. Project Sekai is the final game to break $10 million, coming in at number 11 with 360,000 new downloads and $10 million. This is actually down from last month's 280,000 new downloads and $11 million. Number 12 is Memento Mori with 130,000 new downloads and $8 million. This is up from last month's 70,000 new downloads and $7 million, showing that idle games continue to reign supreme against all odds. Coming in at number 13 is Diablo Immortal with 400,000 new downloads and $7 million. This is down from last month's 400,000 new downloads and $9 million. How people continue to play Diablo Immortal, though, absolutely baffles me. The 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross comes in at number 14 with 250,000 new downloads and $6.7 million, up from last month's 100,000 new downloads and $3.3 million. Azure Lane comes in at number 15 with 500,000 new downloads and $5.6 million, up from last month's 40,000 new downloads and $2.3 million. A lot of popular gacha games are having a great month so far, with the single exception of Genshin Impact. Number 16 belongs to Fire Emblem Heroes with 28,000 new downloads and $5 million. This is on par with last month's 26,000 new downloads and $5 million. Epic 7 comes in at number 17 with 260,000 new downloads and $4 million, up from last month's 130,000 new downloads and $3 million. Epic 7 continues to surprise me with its lasting power. At number 18 is Summoner's War Chronicles with 270,000 new downloads and $4 million, down from last month's 800,000 new downloads and $7 million, a decrease that I genuinely did not expect, if I'm being entirely honest with you. Somehow, Street Fighter Duel managed to retain a top 20 position, coming in at number 19 just barely, with 200,000 new downloads and $3 million, down from last month's 510,000 new downloads and $5.5 million. And finally, rounding out the top 20 at position number 20 comes Eminence in Shadow with 30,000 new downloads and $2.9 million, down from last month's 20,000 new downloads and $3 million. This was an absolutely fascinating month for me to track. Honkai's Star Rail absolutely destroyed every single game by at times over 100 times their earnings. It's legitimately insane how large a hit this game has become, and while it's still technically in its honeymoon period, I don't see it declining by too large a margin over the next few months. Like every month, Tower Fantasy was absolutely nowhere to be found, earning a measly $1.7 million across mobile this month, continuing its decline, in addition to the devs merging their 40-something servers down into 9, reinforcing what we all suspect and know: the game is on its last legs. Higan Eretho made only $100,000 this month, after only being online for 2 months. I wouldn't expect the game to be online for much longer. Eversoul fell below $1 million for the first time since its release in January. King's Raid made $20,000. Neurocloud made $130,000. Path to Nowhere is averaging roughly $500,000. Ethergazer managed $1.4 million since its release, which really isn't bad. I'm surprised but also glad with the last month's earnings, and I'm eagerly anticipating seeing where some of these games go in the next couple months. Now, if none of those games look like games that you'd be interested in, however, then I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now that you should totally check out.